Coming to you live from Live to Dream Media Studio, Southern Arizona Sports Talk, with your host, Raul Soto Romero.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Southern Arizona Sports Talk. Hey, guys, you can hit that trombone real quick. We got something sad to talk about real quick. This is our season finale. We're going to take a couple weeks off. We will be back January 13th with Pat Nugent. But like I always say, we always go for the big guest. We always want a big finale, and there's no better way for a big finale than bring in a state champion. Coach, how are you doing today, brother?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing great. So has it set in yet that you're a state champion?
You know, it has. It took about 3-4 days to realize that. But as soon as you get away, as soon as you start watching the videos and stuff like that, you get a sentimental feeling, and you know, you see players that you've worked with for 4 years, and you realize that it culminated in a state championship, and you know, really, I'm so happy for them. I mean, that's what's really cool, you know, getting sized for rings and you know.
Oh shoot, the kids must love that.
Oh yeah, and doing interviews like we're doing, you know, and they're doing interviews and just seeing that is really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what was it like kind of seeing, because you've had some of those guys since their freshman year, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What's it like seeing that senior class finally being able to put it all together at the last moment?
You know, there's so much growth and so much change in their mentality. Now, obviously, you see it physically, but in their mentality, how they become young kids to young men. Yeah. And you know, coming off the sideline during games, you know, when they're younger, and you know they're injured or whatever, and they got to bump some bruises here and there, and then you know they want to see the trainer, and then you know, as a senior playing for a state title, you know, they come off the field and they're like, you know, their fingers twisted or whatever, and they just coach pop it back into, you know, pop it back into place, and just the strength and
mental
courage.
toughness.
Mental toughness is incredible. So,
that's awesome.
And you see that, and you really see that in championship teams.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah. So we're going to get more into your coaching career and the season, but I think we can both agree that we both believe in something bigger than just our sport, and that's our faith.
Yes.
And anytime I have someone on that's a part of FCA, it hypes me up because I want to learn what brought them to Christ.
Sure.
So if you don't mind, kind of tell us when did your journey with God start?
Started on October 14th, 2004. 2004.
How old were you?
Oh, gosh. I don't want to age myself.
Oh, shit.
Holy cow. I was mid to late 30s.
Okay.
And I was having a hard time. I was coaching football at Catalina Foothills, and I was working at the Arizona Department of Juvenile Corrections. I worked there for 20 years.
Okay.
And I was having a hard time. I just didn't like what I was doing. I didn't like where I was at as far as, you know, mentally and personally and stuff like that. And we had a chaplain at Catalina Mountain School named Claude Spencer. And one of my buddies at work there just said, "Why don't you go over and talk to the chaplain?" And I did for real briefly. And then we had football practice that night. And he actually came to the football practice after practice and met me. And we sat down and talked about God and Lord and Jesus Christ. And from then on, I accepted the Lord as my Savior.
Yeah. What was it like those first couple of days? Because kind of talking to people that are trying to give their life to Christ,
Mm-hmm.
they're always like, they expect this miracle to happen. Like life just gets easier.
No.
For you, what was it like those first couple of days, and what challenges did you have kind of giving your life to something you can't even see?
Well, your relationship with God, your relationship with Christ is up and down. You know, I admit there's times where my faith, you know, I struggle with my faith because I see certain things happen, and then I realize, well, it's not because of Him, you know, and so there was euphoria really at the beginning. And then as you go on in life, you realize that you're going to have problems and you're going to have to overcome certain situations. And you just realize that you give them over to the Lord and He'll do them in His time. Yeah. And He does. And sometimes what you want is not what but what He wants for you. Yeah. So it
goes back to Proverbs 3:5-6. I always bring it up. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Yes. Don't seek with your own understanding.
Absolutely. And that's that's a continuous situation. And but I mean, I've seen so many things this year, not just because we won a state championship, but just the different individual uh, outcomes that that kids had overcoming tremendous adversity. It's a God thing.
Yeah,
You absolutely know it's a God thing, and we had like I said, individual players that had their own battles with stuff, and with the Lord guiding them the way, they were able to come through them and obviously have this great win.
That's awesome. So I want to dive a little bit deeper, and I hope you don't mind.
Okay.
'Cause I always love, my main purpose with this show is to give people the opportunity to tell their stories in the hope that they give someone else hope going through the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
In your coaching career, how did your coaching career change after you gave your life to God?
Well, you realize that, and I'm not much, excuse me, I'm not much of an orator as far as preacher type Christian.
Yeah, leave that to Mr. Lopez.
Yeah, absolutely. But I try to demonstrate Christian character in everything that I do, and hopefully I succeed. But right away I just knew that winning wasn't the only thing that gauged success. That bringing people to Christ, bringing young men to Christ, showing them my behavior and how I react to things is different. When I was a competitive athlete my whole life, so
Ice Cats.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I hope this doesn't ruin the interview, but I'm a Sun Devils fan, brother.
Oh boy.
You're like, time to walk out.
You got the maroon on.
Yeah.
We'll look over that. So I just think that you have to you just have to demonstrate it. I know a lot of Christians that think you have to speak it and talk it all the time, and what I believe is that you live it.
Yeah.
You live it, and through your actions and through your behaviors, your love for Christ will show through.
Yeah, just like there's a Bible verse in Matthew that says, "Let your light shine to everyone else."
Yep.
And I think that's exactly what you're talking about. Lead by example.
Sure. And there's a lot. There's a lot of people. Well, I'll pray for you and this and that, and that's great. Obviously that's extremely important. But go do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go do things.
Go do it. Stop talking about it. Go do it.
Go do it. Yeah. Go show people the love of God.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, with having Mr. Lopez in your life,
yes,
what kind of things have you learned from him? Because he's got me through so many situations. I've been in situations where I blew out my shoulder.
Wow.
I just recently blew out I just found out in August that I actually I played my whole baseball career with a broken back.
Ooh.
But I would always call him, like, I don't feel good, what's going on? And he would get me going into the right direction, always saying, don't let your position dictate everything.
Yeah.
What lessons have you learned from Mr. Lopez?
Chaplain Lopez has just done an outstanding job. He's been with us for 4 years now. And he comes out once a week and gives a Devo. And he does a great job just to relating what we're going through as a football player, as an athlete, to the Bible, what it says in the Bible, and to what Jesus Christ went through. And he just does a great job with that. He's very articulate about it, so kids can understand it. Sometimes I get up there and I fumble and I bumble and do things like that.
Yeah, he's a great public speaker.
He is, and he's so knowledgeable that he speaks really well to the points that he's trying to make. And it's incredible how the Bible refers to everything that's happening today.
Oh, absolutely.
It's incredible, and it does.
Yeah.
And he's able to do that and demonstrate that through Scripture and all those things that he'll stand in front of us and just do a great job with. He'll have a topic that's related to kind of what we're going through, overcoming obstacles, overcoming adversity, or big game week, and how you prepare spiritually for a big game week, and stuff like that. And then obviously what you have to do off the field too.
Yeah.
So
I like what you said right there, and I want to ask about this. How do you prepare spiritually for a game week?
So we do about 3 to 4 devos every week.
Oh, that's incredible.
Where a coach will stand up and do a devo on a certain topic, and it's usually related to adversity, overcoming adversity, teamwork, unity, and what the Bible says about those things, and speaking to that. and how the Bible's affected us, or how the Lord has affected us as individuals, as coaches and stuff, and we share stories and stuff like that. So we do that 3 times a week, and then we have Chaplain Lopez come out and we speak to that, and then we always end every practice. And this is what's so cool about being at a Christian school is you can pray.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, we pray every day.
Yeah.
We pray when we're weightlifting in the morning. We pray when we're done with practice at night. And one of the kids, one of the players will lead us in prayer when we break practice. So and then we so we deal with those things. I mean, we're adding those things all the time. We're always looking to get better and how we can do it better. But we have a coaching staff that is very Christ-like, and that's
the best all-star team right there.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got to know the game of football, and you got to be able to deal with kids and stuff like that, but you need to be a Christian.
Yeah. Got to set the example how you're supposed to live.
Absolutely.
Yep. You probably know him, Jeff Stearns.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the best things he's ever said, and I mention it almost like every show because I loved what he said.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's not about the wins and losses on the field. It's about the wins and losses in students' lives. How many kids are you saving?
Yeah.
And hearing how you're developing these kids to develop a life with Christ is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot more people need to get on board with this.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And it's not to say that we don't have issues. I mean, we have issues that we have to deal with, and we're all sinners.
Yeah.
And so we have to work through those things. And but when you have the Lord on your side, it
guides you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It guides you, and that's one thing when I tell people I'm Christian, they expect me to live this straight narrow life.
Yeah.
But at the end, they were human.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then at the like what says in the Bible, we all fall short of God's expectation through His everlasting grace. We're saved. And
one of the cool things though, I got to tell you this is that, and I know our kids probably use vulgar language and stuff when they're not on the field or when they're not around us and stuff. But you come to our practice and you won't hear a cuss word.
Oh,
you won't.
So
yeah,
let's get into that because this is like one of the craziest things I've heard. Because I've been around sports my whole life. Like we covered football games this entire season.
Sure.
And there's grittiness, there's anger, there's yelling, there's fist fights. Like I remember the first game we went to, Miranda versus South Point. You had some dude from South Point throwing hands.
Yeah.
When I talked to Mr. Lopez, I try to talk to him at least once a week.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things he told me about you're one of the first coaches to develop a team that's hard or plays hard as heck, but they're the most respectful team out there.
Yeah.
How do you develop having this hard-nosed mindset, but also being super respectful for no one's talking crap, no one's yelling at each other? How do you develop that?
Those things are distractions. I believe. Okay, so I guess some athletes, think talking trash excites them and gets them motivated and stuff like that. But you can be Jesus Christ was the fiercest competitor in the world.
Absolutely.
Okay, and Jesus Christ never talked smack. He never talked trash.
He forgave when people turned his head on them.
Absolutely, and you can be an incredibly deep competitor. Just compete throughout your whole life and have it in your blood and still do the right things. And we actually take pride in the fact that we'll help kids up after we hit them hard, and they may be talking smack, but we'll help them up. And we have a saying, we want to rip your head off, but we're going to give it back to you. Okay,
you need to put that on a shirt.
Absolutely. And you can be. I mean, there's this kind of misnomer out there that to be intense, you have to be this maniacal type, spitting nails type person, and you don't. You just got from inside. You got to want to win. You got to want to compete. You want to do the right things, and doing that is easy. And then when you're having success, it becomes easier.
That's when it's easier to buy in because you see the outcome of it.
Absolutely, and we've done that's been a staple of our program for a while. That you can go out there and you can kick some butt, and be the nicest person in the world. When I was a little kid, I met a hockey player named Gordie Howe, and Gordie Howe is the oldest. He was the oldest active. He was the oldest player, oldest person to ever play in a major sport. And he played until he was 52.
Oh, geez.
And he was the meanest.
That's Tom Brady's young compared to that.
Oh, Tom Brady's extremely young, and he was good. I mean, he was the best player of all time for a long, long time, and he was vicious on the ice. I mean, he was downright tough, just tough as a $2 steak, and but off the ice, he was the biggest gentleman you could ever meet. And I met him when I was 10 years old. And when you're a hockey player, he's godlike.
Yeah.
Okay. And I met him when I was 10 years old, and he was the nicest man I ever met. And then when you watch him play, you'd be like, holy cow, that's the same person.
Yeah.
So that part, the human part, I learned from that.
Watching him play? Watching
him play, and then watching him after games in interviews and stuff like that. And he was just, you would never think that he would do the things that he did on the ice. But then obviously when I became a Christian, that played into that, and that you can go out there and you can want to destroy people, but you're going to want to help them out afterwards.
It's just kind of like fighting in a way. Once it's over, it's respectful. Absolutely. You try to bear the hatchet and everything.
Yep. We get. I think the best compliments we get, it doesn't have involved with winning a game. It has to do with people coming up to our athletic director or us directly or our players saying, you guys kicked our butt, but you are easy to like. We can't get mad at you. And I've
never heard someone say that before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I remember being leaving the state championships against Greenway, and literally we hated them.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we hated Oscar Romero, who's my uncle, was a huge mentor in my life. A loss, oh my goodness, we felt that loss until the next year.
Yeah.
Because we hated losing, but for a team to say that's incredible.
Well, it just. And you can do that, and that's just having Christian influence, and that's what I talk about. More than speak it, show it. Yep. Show it. Show that you can be fierce competitor, and nobody wants to mess with you. But after the game, or even during the game, you can have a conversation with them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. So we got one of my favorite songs playing. So that means it is time for a commercial break. We'll be right back, guys.
Welcome to Snap Fitness. This is my gym.
And my gym.
And this is my gym. And my gym.
Here at Snap Fitness Marana, we welcome all kind people trying to stay healthy.
Ready to make us your gym? Click the link below, message us on social media, or give us a call 520-400-4646.
We are Jet Sports Training, where our mission is to cultivate champions. This is where athletes come to get faster and everyday people come to change their lives. This is not a gym, but a community. Come get jetted.
Take off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lot of y'all doubted on me. Now they like, wow, look how far you go. Legendary like all my idols, coming for it all, and I can't wait. Success just called and I got me a date. So I grab my ambitions and I'm on my way. Cross the wrong line and it's bad news. Might get burnt like a candle. We too hot to handle. World at my feet like a sandal. I only move when I play to your moves to get canceled.
This episode is brought to you by Advanced Vision Care and Dry Eye Spa. Go check them out at 7552 North La Troya Boulevard, across from Foothills Mall. 520-744-1711. Tell them Rue sent you in.
You're listening to the Live the Dream Media Network, Arizona's premier live podcast studio and online radio.
All right, guys, we are back. Oh, man, I wish we would have heard us during the commercial break. Coach is speaking right now. So redo that saying what you just said right now, because I loved what it was, because what we were talking about is I'm going in my first year coaching, and my mindset's a lot like I call it the Romero mindset. I want to beat you so bad you go crying in the car.
Sure.
But after listening to you talk, you talked about how, I want to beat you, but I want to make them say we're respectful.
Yeah.
Why is that so important? Because you were talking about it right now.
Well, because that's Jesus. Okay, that's Jesus. All right, Jesus saves lives. So, I think, like we've talked about, you can be the fiercest competitor in the world and yet leave a great impression on the people that you compete against.
Yeah.
And so many times, you hear about athletes, that guy's fiercely competitive, but he's a jerk.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a jerk. If you got God in your life, you got Jesus Christ in your life, you don't have to be a jerk. You can be, Jesus Christ was the fiercest competitor there ever was.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can demonstrate that,
Absolutely.
and it keeps your mind right. You're not winning. You're not playing to beat that person into a pulp. You're playing to win.
Yeah.
Okay. And in the process, you're going to bang people up. But you don't have to stand over people and gyrate and talk trash and talk crap.
Do your guys celebrate after touchdowns at all?
We'll celebrate with each other. The usual body jumps and the body bumps and all that kind of stuff. And the fist pumps and starting the lawnmower and stuff like that. But we never talk to the other team. We at least that I know of. We never in your face type stuff at all. I mean, that's not Christian like.
Absolutely.
And we have a saying where we want to rip your head off and then give it back to you.
Yep.
So and that's kind of how we play. That's our mentality.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So one thing I've learned kind of getting into the real world is your mindset developed by the people that you've been around your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can talk about the mindset my uncle's giving me, my dad's giving me. So I really want to dive into who was coach before he was a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little about the role models you had growing up and kind of how you got into, that way that people know, how you got into hockey as well.
Yeah. So my mom and my dad was, he actually was a hockey player. He's from Canada.
Oh,
played some professional hockey, played college hockey at Denver University.
Denver University? Is that Metro now? Is it called Metro?
It might be. I think it's still DU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hockey's big in Denver, I'll say that.
Huge, yeah.
Like one of our assistant coaches, he'd always show up with a black eye or something and would be like, what happened to you, bro? Hockey game.
Yeah, so he was born in Regina, Saskatchewan, and then met my mom at Denver University. And
was your mom an athlete too, or?
She was athletic. She wasn't a formal athlete, but she's still alive. She's 93.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and she's as competitive as you can get. I mean, it's kind of funny, to be honest with you. It really is. I mean, she competes at everything still, and she loves sports and all that. But
so my grandmother, she's 90. She's about to be 92.
Okay,
same way.
Okay,
like freaking she's competitive in the sense she doesn't want to give up anything she's doing. She's like, even when it comes to like cooking and stuff, like Thanksgiving, she's like, nope, no one does better than I do. I'm doing it. That's it.
I know that. Yeah. So my dad and actually my mom too started youth hockey in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, dang.
They started the youth hockey program in Phoenix, Arizona back in 1966 or 67.
What brought them back to Arizona from Denver? My
dad had a job. My mom's family lived here. And my dad got a job with my mom's brother-in-law, and then he got his degree and everything, so he was able to get into business, and so he ran a bearing company here, a bearing and chains company throughout the state of Arizona, and so that they originally came down here because my mom's family.
Nice. So
after all the hockey was over, that they came down here and started with that, and then he started actual hockey. In Phoenix, they had a boy. My mom or dad's boy scout troop went to a rink in Phoenix, the only rink they had there in Phoenix, and just did they just were going to go skate.
Yeah.
And so they, when all was said and done, they got hockey sticks out and started the Hockey Arizona was what it was called, and it's still around today. It's Desert Hockey Association now, but there's tons and tons of hockey up in Phoenix now. So he actually started that. So that's how
awesome.
I got into hockey. Yeah. So we actually lived in Tucson, and when I got older and I was playing hockey in high school, and we would. I would leave practice, football practice or baseball practice, whatever it's practice, drive up to Phoenix and practice hockey.
Oh, so you're doing 3? Oh, dang.
Yeah. It was crazy, but I mean the sacrifice they made for me, to play hockey up, because I had to play most of my hockey out of Phoenix. Yeah. To do that was incredible.
Driving me back up and back.
My dad we'd get back at 2:30 in the morning, and my dad get up and go to work, and I'd go to school. Yeah, we did. He did that. They did that with my brother too.
Oh, your brother was a hockey player too?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Ice Cats too, or?
Yeah, he actually was one of the first Ice Cats teams.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Older brother or young?
Older.
Okay.
Yeah. Growing up, my life was athletics. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in baseball and I was actually a diver.
You were a diver too?
Yeah.
Dude.
I hated it.
I passed out once. I'll tell you the story. So my mom, when I was growing up, she wanted us to do all the sports, and she wanted us to try diving. I'm like, I barely know how to swim. You want me to dive? So you know how U of A has like the top thing or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't know you're supposed to dive a certain way so you don't hit your head.
Oh.
I hit my head, fainted for got dazed for 3 seconds.
Really?
And then the lifeguard freaking jumped in because they were scared that I was drowning or something.
Holy cow.
After that, I'm like, I'm never diving again. I'm never going back there.
I did it for about 4 years when I was real young, and competed in it and everything, and I hated it because I had a coach that really he drove me pretty hard.
Really?
Oh yeah, he drove me pretty hard, and
good thing the diving so high you can't really hear him.
Well, he'd make me do I remember the first time I was trying to do a back 1.5, and I'm 8 years old. Okay, and I'm trying to do it back 1.5, and I would. For 10 straight times, I'd land this flat on my back.
Ugh.
And it hurt so bad. And I'd be crying and cold. And my mom would get ready to go to diving practice, get me ready to go diving practice. And I would try to hide. Yeah. So growing up, I just played all sorts of sports. We were into sports and big U of A fans and stuff like that.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So, what high school did you go to?
Canyon Del Oro.
CDO.
CDO, yeah.
Oh, man, this ain't going good. CDO.
CDO, Arizona State.
Yeah, CDO is notorious for being Tucson High. So I'm like, that we've had a couple long bus rides from them.
Yeah, they're good baseball programs for sure.
So what baseball, did you play baseball in high school as well?
I did, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Talk about that experience a little bit, because I think, did you guys ever make the state championships at all?
In 1984, we won the state championship.
Oh, damn. So how many rings you got now, man?
I've been blessed to be a part of a lot of great teams, and I've been in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. God's timing.
Yeah, absolutely. I played baseball at CDO, and then I coached baseball at CDO in 94, and we won a state title there too. So
I think you guys beat Tucson High that year, or was it 92?
That
was Tommy Vega on that team?
I can't remember. I can remember. So we won it in 94. I was coaching as an assistant coach, and we beat Deer Valley, I think it was, for the championship. Yeah.
Okay.
But Tucson High was a big rival.
Yeah, I just remember the horror stories of it.
Yeah. I mean, CDO's had a really illustrious baseball program.
Yeah, and they're doing amazing as well.
Yeah. No doubt. So baseball, I played baseball. I played football until I was a sophomore.
Oh, shoot. So you didn't even do 4 years of football?
I did. I'd get out of practice and then go travel up to Phoenix to play, to practice hockey. And it was just like that. Those are two collision sports, and it just was too much. So I really wish I would have finished out my football career. I really do. But hockey was life for me, so we sacrificed that.
What made you pick the Ice Cats, or did you have any other offers? Or
I played in the United States Hockey League for 3 years, and
tell us what that is, because a lot of listeners might not know how big of a league that is.
So if you Google it, United States Hockey League is the top preparer or top developmental league for for pro hockey and for college hockey. So usually kids, whether they're still in high school or a year or two out of high school, they play what's called junior A hockey, and junior A hockey is a top amateur status that you can have before being a pro, and a lot of people consider it pro too.
Yeah.
So I played in the United States Hockey League in Dubuque, Iowa, right out of high school for 3 years. Had a great time. It was the best time of my life. Before I became a Christian, it was the best time of my life.
Was that a little bit of a culture shock coming from Arizona to going to Iowa?
No, because I mean, being a hockey player, you just travel.
Yeah.
You just travel all the time. So, I've traveled the whole country, in high school and middle school and all that. During weekends, we'd go out of town all the time. The whole West Coast, the whole Midwest, Chicago, all those places. So I was around cold weather quite a bit.
So you were used to it by the time?
I was used to. Now, I wasn't used to living in it.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit different. I mean.
Oh, I feel you on that, man.
Oh,
when I moved to Colorado, I didn't know that your hair can freeze from being wet.
Oh, everything is difficult during the winter.
Yeah.
Everything is difficult. Starting your car, getting to the car, having it warm enough.
Yep.
Not sliding down the
black ice.
Oh, it's crazy. God. It's a whole that is a culture shock.
Yeah.
So and it's not so much the snow; it's the ice.
Yeah.
The ice that makes it just miserable. Because I mean, we would practice. We would practice at 5 or 6 in the morning, and you'd have to get up at 5:15 or whatever, and wait for somebody to come pick you up. One of your teammates come pick you up, and it's you wait inside obviously, but it's minus 10 degrees outside. And you're walking down the steps, and you try not to fall, and then you get into a cold arena, and that's like ugh, So there's no doubt.
I need that 100-degree weather again.
Absolutely, no doubt. It's much easier to adjust to the hot weather than the cold weather. Now I like cold weather, but it's much easier to adjust to the hot weather.
Yeah.
But So I loved it. I played back in Iowa for 3 years, and it was awesome. Love the people there.
So did you come back to Arizona to play with the Ice Cats, or how did that work after those 3 years?
Yep. So I actually getting playing out of the USHL. I got recruited. I took a trip to Boston to Northeastern on a recruiting trip. Mankato State.
I just got to make sure. Please tell me you're not a Red Sox fan.
No.
Okay, we're good.
So I went there. I don't want to offend anybody, but I did not like Boston. I didn't like the people. I didn't like the vibe.
Yeah.
It's just so different.
It is.
It's so just out front and in your face. And
that's how East Coast is kind of like. That's how New York is a lot too.
Yep. And so I didn't like that too much. I thought about going there, and then Mankato State. I took a trip to Mankato State, and that's now Minnesota State. And I liked it, but we had a team here in Tucson. It was a club team, but we were kind of an independent. The Ice Cats were kind of an independent Division I team, because our whole schedule we played against Division I teams.
Yeah,
a lot, not all of it, but a lot. And I thought, I've never really played hockey here in town, and I could kind of see the handwriting on the wall that I was going to make huge bucks out of it. So I kind of decided that play in front of my family here.
Yeah,
and it was a fantastic time. It really was. And very competitive. And
so there was like 5,500 people there at the games?
Yeah, we used to average about 4,500 fans a game, and sometimes we'd sell out. And we played Notre Dame and Michigan State, and we played all the big Division I teams, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was competitive. We took our lumps sometimes, but we also had some great victories. Yeah. We had some great. We shocked a lot of people. It was fun, and it was a good time.
Yeah. Looking back at your college career with the Ice Cats and also being in Iowa, what's one of the lessons you've learned that a freshman going into college this year coming up should know?
Well, I didn't do it at the time, but now I would say accept the Lord into your life as your Savior, because there's ups and downs, and fortunately for me, I was home. So when I went through those ups and downs, I was home. I wasn't away from home. I did that when I was in the USHL, But you go through those things, kind of by yourself, so to speak.
Yeah, homesick
And all that kind of stuff.
Let me ask you this. Your freshman year, how much of adjustment did you have to make? Because I know when I was going from Tucson High to Western Oregon, it felt like, I used to be good at baseball. What happened?
Yeah, no doubt. There's a step up in play, just commitment, I think, is the biggest
It's
thing.
because it's a job at that point. In high school, you can get away with going just 2 hours of practice.
Yep.
Once you get to college, you're going sometimes from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yep. And you're playing a lot. The schedule is more intense, and so you're playing a lot. And I think it's just I think the biggest adjustment is just realizing that it's not all going to be easy. It's going to be hard. There's going to be time. When you're playing well and things are going well, it's great. But there's going to be time, when you read in the paper about, how your team sucked, and you guys, got obliterated.
Yeah.
And, you may be one of the reasons why. That's hard. That's hard for a young person. It's hard for anybody to deal with. And so when you have things like that, commentary in the newspapers and on TV and, that stuff, that you got to learn to be tough, thick-skinned. So accept the Lord right away.
Absolutely.
No doubt. Because he'll be a shield for you, and he'll help you during those times, because there's great times and there's tough times.
Yep, trials and tribulations.
Oh, big time.
Yep.
Ups and downs.
So what happens after the Ice Cats? Where do you start coaching at? Because I know you were an assistant coach for a couple, almost decades, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I was. So I actually started coaching right at the end of my hockey career. I started coaching in the summer a senior league baseball team.
Okay.
Because I played baseball, at CDO, and actually, one of my mentors, and I don't even know if he knows this, but I haven't seen him for so long. The guy who I thought was the best coach I've ever played for or been around since I've been a coach is a guy named Roger Werblow.
Roger, okay. Yeah, I know that.
Roger.
That's one of, do you know George Arias?
I do, absolutely. I coached George Arias.
You coached George Arias?
I did, yep. 2 years at Pima College.
So you coached at Pima too?
Mm-hmm.
So were you with, who was over there at the time? Who's the head coach over there?
Roger Werblow.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah, Roger Werblow was the head coach. And I played for him at CDO, and then when my hockey career finished, I got into coaching, and I started senior league baseball as a senior league baseball coach. And then I started actually coaching baseball at Mountain View High School.
Okay.
And then coached baseball there and football. I started football. I went up to the head football coach, Wayne Jones. And Wayne Jones is an ex-college football coach at the University of Cincinnati, Arizona, Purdue, places like that. So he was a big-time college football coach. And I asked him, I said, Coach, I want to learn a lot about football. I want to become a football coach. And because I always wanted to do that since I was a little kid. I used to love watching football on TV and going to games and watching the coaches. And so that was that, So and then as I got a little bit more advanced, 3 years into my career, Coach Werblow asked me to coach at Pima College baseball. Dang. Yeah. So I coached there 2 years, coached outfielders and hitters. And
so you're the reason why George is set the record at UVA?
George made everybody a good coach.
Yeah.
George was phenomenal in college.
Yeah.
He was a phenomenal hitter, just a natural. I mean, he'd just step up the plate and just.
Was he still allergic to right field?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, he wasn't too bad of a pull monster, but he, he was just built to hit. He was born to hit. I mean, he hit some. I think he set the home run record both at
Pima and U of A.
And U of A.
He was he played a huge impact in my baseball career as well.
Okay.
I'll tell you this. He saw something in me that no one else saw. I just got done getting cut from another club team.
Okay.
Basically had a terrible tryout with the Tucson Champs. They were the Royals at the time.
Yeah.
And he said he saw something in me, so he put me on a team.
Wow.
And somehow that turns into playing until I was 23 years old.
Yeah. George, a good Christian man.
He's the one that gave me my first Bible.
That's great.
And it's kind of funny, is not even realizing it today. I was bringing all my stuff. I actually brought my first Bible with me. So it's
really,
he gave me the competitor's Bible.
That's awesome. Yeah. Georgia, what a baseball player. You know, and so mellow.
Yeah. I've seen him pissed off before.
Yeah, I know.
I've seen him mad before.
Sure, but I mean, as a player, he really analyzed hitting.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, he was into
That's why he's such a great hitting coach now.
Yeah, he really analyzed it. And he would come back to the dugout, you know, and not like I had answers or anything like that, but he would come back to the dugout and he'd say, Coach, what was going on there? And I said, you're a little bit out in front. You got to wait, let the ball get in on you and stuff like that. And you know, all the coaches did that with him. We actually his sophomore year, his last year at Pima, we made it to the College World Series.
Yeah.
And went to the national championship game and lost in the national championship game.
He always talks about that he's 0 for 3 in World Series, the Japan World Series, the JUCO World Series,
Yep.
and then the actual World Series.
Okay, there you go.
All right, guys, that is a sign for the last commercial break. Actually, last commercial break of 2024, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to Snap Fitness. This is my gym.
And my gym.
And this is my gym.
And my gym.
Here at Snap Fitness Marana, we welcome all kind people trying to stay healthy.
Ready to make us your gym? Click the link below, message us on social media, or give us a call 520-400-4646.
We are Jet Sports Training, where our mission is to cultivate champions. This is where athletes come to get faster and everyday people come to change their lives. This is not a gym, but a community. Come get jetted.
About to take off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lot of y'all doubted on me. Now they like, wow, look how far you got. Legendary like all my idols, coming for it all, and I can't wait. Success just called and I got me a date, so I grabbed my ambitions and I'm on my way. Cross the wrong line and it's bad news. Might get burnt like a candle. We too hot to handle. World at my feet like a sandal. I only move when I plan to. Your moves could get canceled.
This episode is brought to you by Advanced Vision Care and Dry Eye Spa. Go check them out at 7552 North La Cholla Boulevard across from Foothills Mall, 520-744-1711. Tell them Rue sent you in.
I'm Christina Johnston.
And I'm Bridget Kosis.
And we're the hosts of the Backseat Thriver podcast, coming to you every Friday at 10 a.m. live. So be sure to check us out.
You're listening to the Live the Dream Media Network, Arizona's premier live podcast studio and online radio.
Oh, cool. What's up, guys? I thought you were replaying that thing for a second, dude. My bad. So I really want to get into the season because you had an incredible season, but I also want to get into the impact that Roger Warbelow had on you. What are some of the core values you brought to your coaching style that you've learned from him?
Hard work. Okay. I always used to watch Coach Warbelow. First of all, he was a very successful baseball coach at CDO, won 2 state titles and played for state title games all the time. But his work ethic was second to none. I mean, whether it was working with players, whether it was working the field, baseball coaches are notorious for working their field. Okay.
Oh yeah.
They don't want the grounds crew to do it. They want to do it themselves. Okay. And so
that's one thing I got to learn how to do. I got to learn. I got to learn to some yard work.
I'll tell you, watering grass manually is one of the most peaceful things you can do. It's awesome. So anyway, Roger, Coach Warbelow, he was a great high school baseball coach, and he coached me when I was in high school, and he was so knowledgeable about the game. But the thing was, like, when we went to baseball camps and he was a speaker at a baseball camp, we would go for like 2-3 day baseball camps, and you'd stay overnight and stuff, and he'd be one of the instructors, and then he would speak and stuff. He would always sit in on all the other coaches' lectures.
Oh, dang.
Oh, it was nonstop.
Yeah, I know some coaches that they'll just go in and out.
Absolutely. And he would always stay around, and always after his address, he would always sit down with a pad and pencil and listen to other guys all the time. He was hard-nosed, but he was extremely fair. Good Catholic, good Christian man. And I just learned so much from how he prepared he was. And, he had to discipline me a couple times. And at the time, of course, I didn't like it. But looking back on it, it was some of the best stuff that
Those are learning lessons.
Learning lessons as, becoming a coach, that, you can be a good guy and everything, but there's sometimes you got to lay the law down.
Yeah.
And he wasn't afraid to do that.
It's almost like being a parent in a way.
Absolutely. But he worked so hard and was so knowledgeable that you respected him for that. I mean, because you knew he was coming from a place of preparation and love of the game. He just a great coach,
Yeah.
I think he's the last coach at Pima College to take a team to well, maybe there was one more.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Uncle Edgar.
I'm not sure about that, but we played in Grand Junction, Colorado.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was 2 weeks, and that was incredible.
The ball flies over there, doesn't it?
But he was always he knew what he wanted to do, but he was always willing to listen to other coaches. So, I was a baby. Okay, when I was coaching at Pima College,
because you were only coaching baseball for 3 years at that point before you got to Pima, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and I was a baby, but he was so when he gave me the outfield, when I was coaching the outfield, he didn't get in it's yours. Now he would make sure that we were doing the right stuff, but he let you coach, which some head coaches don't do. Head coaches are some head coaches can be very, they have their hands involved in everything. But he was so comfortable in his own skin that he could let other people do what they wanted to do. We had a pitching coach named Len Anderson, who was a great coach on that staff. And it just was the professionalism and the knowledge and the work ethic. I remember one time when I was playing baseball for Coach Werblow at CDO, where I think I was a sophomore, and we had a game. I can't even remember this. We had a game against Sunnyside, and it was raining all day. And so the game was going to be rained out. And it was our first game of the season, so everybody's bummed. Yeah. Coach Werblow spread gasoline on the dirt infield.
Did he light fire?
And lit
you
it
guys
on
were doing it back then?
And lit it on fire.
That is awesome.
Lit it on fire, and there's this fire going on. He didn't tell the administration, so fire trucks are showing up and everything because Coach Werblow's trying to get the field ready to play by lighting the infield dirt on fire.
What did the AD say after that?
I'm sure he had some issues.
That's awesome.
I'm sure
that's one of the grittiest things I've ever heard.
He used to drag the field by himself. He used to drag the field without a tractor. Put the thing around his waist, take his shirt off, and drag the field.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, yeah. That's how he was, man. That's just Coach Werblow. Yeah. I wish I could see him again. I think he tried to get in contact with me a couple weeks ago, but I'm going to try to get in touch
awesome.
with him.
After you talk, I got to get him on the show now.
Yeah,
after that story, I'm
absolutely.
like, yeah, I got to get him on.
No doubt. No doubt.
So now talking from, because I want to make sure we get into this because you had an incredible season.
Sure.
Was there just a different feeling in the air this year? How was it? Were you expecting to go as far as you did? Like, what was spring football like last year?
So spring football, every year, coaches kind of go through a little depression because you lose seniors.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't go out and recruit anybody. And it's so you're like, oh, how are we going to replace this? And how are we going to replace this? And how are we going to replace that? And this guy and that guy and stuff. And but the one thing, I think one of the things that people may not understand, if they even care, is that Push Ridge has always had a good football program. They were successful way before.
You guys are state championships in 2015.
That was before I was there.
Yeah.
So so they've had really, really good coaches there that have done an outstanding job that have laid the foundation for it to be as successful as it's gotten. And it was successful back then. So there's been a lineage of coaches that have done a great job. And you get players that want to be there. They want to be at Push Ridge. Their first go-to is Jesus Christ. So it's a school that's had a lot of success. But in the spring, you kind of go through that. How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that?
Yeah, did you guys lose a bunch of seniors?
We did. Well, we lost some seniors. Yeah, we lost about 7 seniors.
We
were
this
really
year, right?
senior dominant this year, but last year, we had 6 or 7. But you lose your starting quarterback that was there for 2 years, and running backs and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, holy cow. And I'm impatient, so I have a hard time sometimes looking at a kid when they're a freshman and sophomore, going, he's going to be a great football player. I mean, you can see it in certain things. But you don't, they're little, they're small, they haven't lifted weights or done anything like that. And you're like, how is that, how's he going to ever play varsity football?
Yeah.
And then it just happens, kids just get in the weight room, they work their butts off and do all that kind of stuff. And they mature, and it's like, holy cow, and I think that kind of happened with this year's team. I think, the spread, we knew we had really, really good skill kids. Okay. We knew we had really, really top-of-the-line skill kids, and a lot of them. We don't have a lot of depth, but our roster was deep in the skill positions. Had a quarterback that played running back for us last year.
So he switched positions.
He was a quarterback, but then our top running back, Blake Reed, that was coming back last year, broke his hip in our scrimmage. Broke his hip, and kind of like the same thing that kind of a little bit like Bo Jackson had.
Oh, dang.
In the first play of the scrimmage.
Did he have to have a hip replacement? Or?
Well, he had to have hip surgery. He was immobile for 6 months.
Oh, shoot.
He got granted another year of eligibility.
For high school?
For high school.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, because he couldn't go to school. He couldn't go to school.
Yeah.
So that was Blake Reed. So Jacob Newborn, our quarterback, replaced him at running back last year. And Jake was an all-conference running back.
Oh, nice.
He's just a very gifted athlete. Great leader. So he was our quarterback this year.
Senior, junior?
He's a senior.
Oh,
yeah.
he's senior.
Yeah, he was an Arizona State 3A Player of the Year.
Awesome.
So great on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
A great leader, just does an outstanding job for us, and real intelligent young man. But I think so there was a special feeling a little bit in the summer. We played in a lot of passing league tournaments and stuff like that. We didn't win any of them. But we don't do that we don't go to passing tournaments to win them. We go there to prepare for what we're doing. Develop and do that kind of stuff. So, but we competed against some good teams and did real well. But what I think, we go to a preseason camp in San Diego, and we go there for 4 days, 3 nights and 4 days. And the closeness of this group, the tightness of this group was phenomenal. You could tell right away that this could be special. You don't know if you're going to be special on the field of play by dominating, but you knew that these kids loved and cared about each other.
Yeah.
And there really was that special feeling, and we have a saying, it's amazing what can be accomplished if no one cares who gets the credit. And they took that to heart. And it's great. It's great to be around these young men because they really love each other, and it's and I think we played Ben Franklin, the team,
second game of the year.
Second game of the year, and they walloped us.
I think it was like 34-7 or something like that. Let me ask you this. After that, what was their mindset after that? Because it's so easy to get negative. And then from what you're telling me, I doubt they even got negative. But what were the players saying after that loss?
Well, I'll tell you what. You can ask them to a man, and they'll tell you, we needed to practice better. We needed to come out and practice better. We needed to be sharper, crisper, know what we're doing more, and they made that commitment. And also in the second half,
did you see that kind of change afterwards?
Absolutely. And we kind of, as coaches, we kind of demanded that too. I mean, we had a meeting. We said, look, guys, we can't sleepwalk through practices. We just can't do it. We can't afford it. We're not talented enough. We got talent, but we're not talented enough. We got to be the hardest working team in the city and the state. And so they took that to heart, and they did a real good job with that the rest of the year. They realized, but that was what's so great about them is that they learned that. You didn't have to pound it into them. They learned that. They learned that we need to practice better, and they wanted to be good. So when you got the combination of that, you're gonna improve.
Yeah.
And so the second half of the game against Ben Franklin, they were a good football team. I mean, they physically beat us up. And I think in the second half, some of our kids were like, you know what? I'm not going to go through this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through getting my butt whooped anymore. And they made that commitment. And one of them, the things was to practice better.
Yeah, I think that next time you beat a team like 6-3-0 or something like that.
Yeah. The competition level, went down a tremendous amount.
Still, there's just so many things that can go south once that start happening.
Absolutely. So that was the players taking it upon themselves to say, hey, guys, we had tremendous senior leadership.
Yeah.
Tremendous senior leadership. And so that, the coaches got the players together, the players got the players together and said, hey, guys, we can't do this anymore. It was we were horrible in practice or anything like that, but there's just a difference.
Different intensity level.
And they really picked it up and did a great job with that. And from then on, it was just like, their camaraderie and their togetherness was so tight that, we had talent. You're going to have something special.
Yeah. So what were you preaching going into that semifinals game? Because I know that could have been kind of daunting knowing that what happened the last time you guys played Benjamin Franklin.
Sure.
What were the seniors saying? What were you telling your team going into this?
Yeah, we were a much different football team by that time. I mean, we had success. We won our conference. We beat Thatcher, who was the number one team in the state at the time. And we knew we were a decent football team. And I think the fact that and I hate to keep coming back to it, but I guess I don't. I mean, they loved each other. You knew.
That's the biggest thing.
That's the huge thing.
It doesn't matter. My uncle Edgar Soto talks about the 1987 Tucson High team. Mm-hmm. They were 500 that whole year.
Yep.
But they're still best friends to this day.
Sure.
And they came together at the last minute to win a state championship.
We talked a lot about, you win a championship together, you walk with each other the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
And they realize that now. Because I mean, they'll when they get interviewed and stuff like that, and they're talking about the season, they'll talk about their teammates more than they do themselves.
That's incredible.
It's awesome. It really is cool, and they really appreciated the uniqueness every player brought to our football team. Whether you played a lot or whether you didn't play a lot, whether you were a starter or whether you were a scout team player most of the time, these kids loved each other, and they realized their roles and they accepted them. And that quote, it's amazing what can be accomplished. No one cares who gets credit. They took it to heart.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to say they bought into it. They lived it. They lived
perfect.
It is. They lived it. And the benefit. With God's blessing, the benefits were a championship season. So, and we were. I'll tell you what, our kids. We're not big. We're a small. When I say small, we're not little stick kids out there. Okay. Our kids lift hard and work hard and do that. They're strong. They're very strong, but just tough as nails this year.
Yeah.
I mean, just tough as nails. Defensively, just swarmed to the football, and it was a blast to watch them play.
Yeah.
It was a blast to watch.
Tough, but super respectful.
Oh man, it was a blast to watch them play and behave the way they do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Coach, I'm getting the sign that we're getting close on time. I want to say thank you for being on the show.
Okay, thank you.
I love everything you're doing, brother.
All right, super.
And
love what you're doing.
Thank you. And real quick, guys, Dave, just give me a second real quick. I got to say thank you to a bunch of people right now. This journey I've been on for the last 18 months hasn't been the easiest with my baseball career and other things going on in my life. I got to say a huge thank you to my parents, mom, dad. Thank you for everything you did to get me through these situations, being this situation. I got to thank my grandma, my Highwire family, and a huge thank you to David Samarano and Clint Peak. You two are the greatest people in my life right now, helping me achieve what I'm achieving right now. Thank you, guys. And it's a season finale, guys. We got through the first season. Thank you guys for all the love and support. Oh, I can't forget this one. My grandma Bertha and my Nana Margaret, thank you guys for being two big supporters. Hey, guys, have a great Christmas. Have a happy New Year. And I'll see you in 2025. We got another state championship coach coming in. Hey, 2025 is going to be huge for Live the Dream Media. Get ready because we're going to do a lot of things you ain't expecting. See you guys. Have a good New Year.
You're listening to the Live the Dream Media Network, Arizona's premier live podcast studio and online radio.